morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Tuesday, April 6th, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London, 12:30 p.m. in Bermuda. In Mexico City, it's 10:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. We'll get to our news right now, actually. The lead story is a mine explosion in West Virginia in the United States. A huge underground explosion, apparently due to methane gas, killed 25 coal miners. It's the worst U.S. mining disaster in more than 20 years. Rescuers were drilling today 3 shafts to go into the mine. They're drilling through over 1,000 feet of earth and rock in order to release methane gas and carbon monoxide. The explosion rocked the Massey Energy Company's Upper Big Branch mine. It's about 30 miles south of the state capital of Charleston. The mine has a history of violations for not properly ventilating the methane gas. According to the Associated Press, they're reporting that the mine was cited earlier this week for violations. The governor of West Virginia, Joe Manchin, is on the site. He's saying that it might take 12 hours beginning at 6 a.m. this morning to drill the 1,000-foot holes each. The situation is very dire. There apparently is an official policy of not giving out much hope. The Federal Mine Safety and Health Administration is there, and they're saying that the situation does look dire. The Toyota company is being hit with a record fine in the United States, $16.4 million from the American government, which is accusing Toyota of hiding a dangerous defect in its cars and delaying the massive recall over the defective accelerator panels. It's the largest fine ever sought by the Department of Transportation. It marks the first official finding that Toyota violated U.S. safety regulations. Toyota has 2 weeks to decide its response, and they can even appeal. U.S. Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood, who advised Toyota owners to park their cars until they were fixed, said, "We now have proof that Toyota failed to live up to its legal obligations. Worse yet, they knowingly hid a dangerous defect for months from American officials and did not take action to protect millions of drivers and their families." The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has said that it's continuing to investigate the Toyota recalls. NHTSA said additional fines were possible if warranted by the investigation. In the United Kingdom, Gordon Brown, here's a picture of him standing with his cabinet in front of 10 Downing Street. This is no surprise. He announced a national election on May 6th. He met with the Queen Elizabeth, at Buckingham Palace to ask her to dissolve Parliament, marking the start of the general election campaign. Parliament will shut down next Monday after concluding business. Brown has never won a national election as leader of the Labour Party. He has a difficult task in front of him. Labour is trailing in opinion polls. The opposition Conservatives hope to win a national election for the first time since 1992. There is, however, an unusual electoral map in Britain, meaning that the outcome of the election is still uncertain. Some polls actually show that Labour might be slightly ahead. The problem that both parties face is the $250 billion deficit as to how to solve it. In South America, in Rio de Janeiro and Brazil, flooding for more than 15 hours of uninterrupted rain has killed at least 11 people in Rio and left streets in many parts of the seaside city underwater. The mayor of the city has urged residents to remain indoors and not venture into downtown Rio, which was inundated. Streets remain impassable. According to the mayor, all the major streets of the city are closed because of the floods. Each and every person who attempts to enter them will be at enormous risk. News from Columbus, Ohio, that Nationwide has swung substantially back into the black last year, mainly due to lower CAT costs, as well as very good investment returns. Nationwide reported net income of $716 million in 2009. It's a huge improvement over the $342 million loss reported in 2008. Their overall revenue grew 5% up to a little bit under $21 billion. Net operating income was $979 million compared to just $80 million in 2008, reflecting primarily improved underwriting results due to lower overall P&C claims. Nationwide, of course, is based in Columbus, Ohio, the capital of Ohio, and they're very good people out there, and we congratulate them. Dow Jones Industrial Average in New York is down about 7 points right now. We'll go to a word from our sponsors. We'll bring this picture up. It might be familiar to you. This is Joseph J. Cassano peering out of his front door of his Belgravia, London home. He, of course, is the former London-based head of AIG's financial products. He may not face criminal charges now, even though his division nearly bankrupted the insurer. However, he may face civil charges. This is according to Reuters. As recently as 3 weeks ago, prosecutors and lawyers from the Securities and Exchange Commission were interviewing potential witnesses for a criminal investigation. However, it's being reported now that he may face civil charges. Regulators do not have to meet the same burden of proof as prosecutors in a criminal case. To prove civil fraud, the SEC needs only to show that the defendant was reckless. That's a much easier standard than having to prove that he intended to commit a crime. So it seems that Mr. Cassano is not off the hook. A drama is playing out off the coast of Somalia. This is the South Korean Navy Department this morning. In a briefing, we reported yesterday that the South Korean Navy has dispatched a destroyer to pursue a very large crude carrier that is being operated by a South Korean company that was hijacked by pirates. Well, the destroyer has now reached the Singapore-owned Samho Dream, which is the South Korean-operated 300,000-ton tanker. The tanker is said to be carrying about $160 million worth of crude oil. The Navy Department in Seoul said that at 16:20 GMT on Monday, the destroyer arrived in waters where the Samho Dream was sailing, and she is now operating near the tanker. The South Koreans say that the destroyer is staying about 30 miles from the supertanker out of concern that its closer presence could endanger the lives of the crew. The destroyer can travel much faster than the tanker and would be able to reach the ship before it reaches any port. The tanker, which was seized on Easter Sunday, was traveling to the U.S. from Iraq and can carry more than 2 million barrels of crude oil, the equivalent of more than 1 day's worth of Iraqi exports. South Korea said that the destroyer is armed with a Lynx helicopter, 40 ship-to-ship and ship-to-air missiles and artillery, and 300 South Korean Marines. We will be following this very closely. It's definitely going to be a